It all began with a storm. Not the kind that shatters windows or sends rivers spilling over their banks, but the kind that whispers through the soul, testing its strength. On the quiet edge of town, bathed in the unsteady glow of a single streetlight, a dog sat. He was soaked to the bone, shivering not just from the cold, but from something deeper. He stared down the long, empty road, a silent vigil for someone who seemed to have simply forgotten him. Days bled into weeks. The seasons began to turn, but the dog remained. He was a constant, a fixture of sorrow and loyalty. The people in town started calling him Shadow, a fitting name for a creature who seemed to be living in the echo of a life that was no longer there. Every night, without fail, he'd curl into a tight ball beside that same lamppost, a beacon in his lonely world. And every morning, the distant rumble of an engine would make him lift his head, a flicker of hope in his tired eyes. But with each passing car that wasn't the car, that flicker dimmed, his hope fracturing just a little bit more. Then, one rainy night, something different happened. A car did stop. It wasn't the one he was waiting for, but it was a car nonetheless. The driver's side door creaked open, and a woman stepped out. You could see the exhaustion etched on her face, her raincoat clinging to her like a second skin of regret. She moved slowly, cautiously, as if the ground beneath her was unsteady. She crouched down, keeping a respectful distance, and her voice was a soft whisper against the patter of the rain. "Hey, boy, who are you waiting for?" Shadow didn't move. He didn't flinch or growl or run away. He just watched her with an unnerving stillness, his gaze seeming to peer right into her soul, as if he was trying to decide if the kindness in her eyes was a mirage or an oasis. Was this real? Could he dare to trust again? She returned the next night, and the night after that, and the one after that. Her visits became a new routine, a small, gentle rhythm in the chaotic silence of his waiting. First, she brought food, placing it down carefully before retreating to her car to watch him eat. Then, she brought a warm, dry blanket, tucking it into the nook by the lamppost. And then, she brought something else. Silence. Not an empty silence, but a shared one. The kind of profound, understanding quiet that can only exist between two souls who have both tasted the bitterness of loss. They didn't need words. They understood the language of grief. Finally, one crisp morning, as the sun painted the sky in shades of gold and rose, a breakthrough. As the woman turned to leave, Shadow got up. He hesitated for a moment, then took a tentative step, and then another. He followed her home. It wasn't because he had finally given up his vigil or forgotten the one he was waiting for. It was because he had found someone who understood the very essence of waiting. He had found a kindred spirit. You see, what the town didn't know, what no one knew, was that the woman had lost her son earlier that year. It was a sudden, tragic car accident. It happened on the very same road that Shadow had been staring down for all those months. It was a secret sorrow she carried, a weight that pressed down on her every single day. She never spoke of it, but sometimes when the rain fell just so, when the world grew quiet and still, she swore she could hear her boy's laughter echoing in the gentle roll of the thunder. And perhaps, just perhaps, Shadow heard it too. He had been waiting for his family, and she had been waiting for a piece of her heart to come back. In a way, they were both waiting for the impossible. Months rolled by, turning into a year. The two of them, the woman and Shadow, became a familiar sight. They'd walk that road together. The leash was old and worn. Their pace was slower, but their hearts felt immeasurably lighter. They walked past the flickering lamppost, no longer a monument to loss, but a milestone on their journey together. The townsfolk would smile and say it was fate, a cosmic alignment that brought them together. But maybe it wasn't something as grand as fate. Maybe it was simpler, and in its own way, more beautiful. Maybe it was just two broken hearts, shattered by life in different ways, recognizing the same quiet ache in each other. It was a shared silence that screamed louder than any words ever could. They found in each other a mirror to their own grief, and in that reflection, they found the beginning of healing. Today, if you happen to drive down that road on a misty evening when the rain starts to fall, you might just see them. A woman with silver streaks in her hair and a dog with wise, cloudy eyes, walking side by side. They walk toward the horizon, no longer waiting, but moving forward. Together, because that's the beautiful, heartbreaking truth of it all. Sometimes the ones who get left behind, they find each other. They find solace not in forgetting, but in remembering together. And when they do, love doesn't waste time asking questions. It doesn't ask where you've been or what you've lost. It just opens the door, looks you in the eye, and says, "Let's go home." Thank you so much for watching and sharing in this story with us. If it touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel for more stories that remind us of the power of connection. We'll see you in the next one.